In a world full of distractions, there is one big question on every dog owner's lips.
How do I become more than just the person holding the other end of the leash?
We all get dogs with a dream in mind, a vision of the future. And if right now your everyday reality isn't quite that picture you had in mind, you are in the right place.
It really doesn't have to be this way.
You absolutely can and will be more to your dog than just the person who gets in between them and the world.
The key is you need to be more sexy.
More sexy than the neighbourhood cat.
More sexy than the jogger in the park.
More sexy than that half-eaten hamburger they just found on the floor.
And yes, even more sexy than the dog across the road.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Lauren.
Together we're Absolute Dogs.
And you're listening to the Sexier Than a Squirrel podcast. Hello and welcome to the Sexier Than a Squirrel podcast, the podcast that gives you real life dog training and some days human results. Now, I'm joined today by the wonderful Michelle. Michelle is one of our full-time trainers at the centre, and Michelle absolutely had an idea. Michelle had an idea about a year ago now, and when she said to me about this idea, I'm an enthusiast. I'm an encourager. I'm definitely someone who celebrates and shares good thoughts. And Michelle said to me, you know what, Lauren, I would love to run a bake-off. Tell me about it, Michelle.
So we do bake-offs every couple of months, and it's all run by Zoom. You dial in and you bake along with me, and we make dog treats.
Now, I said to Michelle, are you sure you want to do this? And she was like, yeah, it's going to be amazing. Now, I think my inner chef, which is about this big and probably non-existent, said, no, Lauren, this does not work. And so I basically not tried to sort of deter Michelle, but I didn't go, oh my God, yes. I was like, we'll see how this goes. I mean, I'm an enthusiast after all. What I can't believe is how much this has taken off. Bake Off for dogs is a real thing. And I'm going to just dive in a little to one of my food struggles, and actually, Michelle, how you have helped me. Now, I train a couple of dogs on a machine called a Treat and Train, a manners minder. I use it for running contact training, for dog training. I train agility. And one of the struggles I was having is my dogs don't really like kibble. Now, on top of not really liking kibble, I also am quite health conscious about what I give them. And I wanted to know what was in it. And sometimes with kibbles, a lot of the things and the qualities are just changed by the processing methods. And so I wanted to be careful as to what I was feeding, and I wanted to know a bit more about the ingredients. And I didn't want maybe so much preservative in them. And anyway, to cut a long story short, I asked Michelle to design me a treat. So what did you design me, Michelle, without going into every single last ingredient and baking it here? Just tell the listeners roughly what you baked me and made me.
So it's a treat that's got flour, meat, some veg in it. And it's on a mini ice cube trays, and whiz it through the blender, pop it into the mini ice cube trays, goes in the oven, and comes out, and they're absolutely perfect for the Treat and Train.
And the coolest thing is that my baker, Michelle, they're so even. They're so evenly sized and shaped, and they're veggies and they're meat. And if your dog's needs a gluten-free flour or a gluten-free substitute, you can do that. Michelle really has it nailed now. You're pretty good at all allergies and anything that we need. And the cool thing is I can ditch the bowl and I can ditch the routine with non-processed kind of foods that I've made myself, and can see what I've put into them in a really easy, simple way. Now, when it comes to training our dogs, I think it's really important we use the right value. I think it's really important we use the right foods, and I think it's really important we use the right ingredients. Why are you passionate about all of this, Michelle?
Well, I like to cook myself, so I like cooking good food. So it was natural to try to make really healthy, good food for my dogs, because it's the way that I eat. And I find it as a really good, it's a bit of a stress relief for me. I really enjoy it. I get a lot of fun out of seeing the dogs enjoy the treats, seeing you find a solution for you to your dog training struggle. And I'm passionate about it.
I really love how you find this a therapy. I'm like, this is amazing. Michelle finds this a therapy, and I see huge results in the end product. So for me, it's like a win-win. It's like someone baking me a cake. I'm very open to all contributions of cake. I'm just putting it out there, students. Anyway, what I would say on a serious note is you are genuinely passionate about, or genuinely rather passionate about food, Michelle, and food, especially for dogs. You've been filming today. You've been filming for a brand new food badge for Absolute Dogs. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you have been putting on camera today.
So we made some of the treat and train treats. We also did a really cool, a lot of fun, little 3-course meal for the dogs. So dessert at the bottom, main course in the middle, and then a little appetizer at the top. And that's really fun. So ditching the bowl doesn't have to be hard. It was really easy, really quick to put it all together. And we had a couple dogs taste test, and they absolutely loved it. I had fun making it, and that's the whole point.
You did have fun making it. You literally were alive today. You're literally like buzzing from doing it. And I would completely agree. Like when you are having that much fun, then that is the whole point, right? Like you alive. You gave my mum a cooking lesson this morning, and then film lessons this afternoon. You literally have had a day as Chef Michelle. And tell me some of the other options that you might have. I know you have tasting plates. I know you have frozen things. I know you do golden paste. Tell us a little bit more.
So I make my own bone broth. So super easy. Everything I do, it's got to be easy. I don't have a huge amount of time. So popping some bones, some veg, things like that into my slow cooker and leaving it on for 24 to 48 hours. And then popping it in the freezer. It's ready to go when I need it. We did some squeezy tubes up. So really good for recall. And again, something really easy. We put fish, we put some berries, some fresh berries that I got at the shop, and some kefir. I make my own kefir. And again, none of it's hard. It's all really easy. But you see the health benefits in the dogs, and they go absolutely mental for it. They love it.
And how about the golden paste? Because golden paste would be Everest's favorites. Everest, for those of you that don't know, she's my beautiful border collie, was diagnosed with she had a mammary tumor about 4 years ago. We found a lump on her nipple, very, very small lump, very, very tiny. We took the nipple off and we sent it for sampling. On sampling, it came back as a fairly aggressive carcinoma, and we hadn't got good margins on this carcinoma. So she had to go back in. She had another operation. She had a strip removed. So that is like the whole side of teats effectively. We removed some of that. And then after that, we had good margins, but she did then not long after have a scan, and the scan showed lots of changes. And they said that she really didn't likely have very long to live. We changed Everest's diet. We added lots of different supplements in. We exercise differently. We feed differently. She only has water from borehole. She doesn't have any tap water from general like taps anywhere else. So no chemical basically. She doesn't have any toxics put on her. She has no flea treatments or any tick treatments or anything like that. We're very careful with vaccinations. She's teeter tested, not anything else. And ultimately changed her whole life. One of the things that she has in her diet, and one of the things I feed her, is golden paste. And Everest loves golden paste. Like literally, it's one of her favorite things. So what is golden paste? Tell me a little bit about it, Michelle.
So it's turmeric powder that you heat up with some water, and you put cracked black pepper in. And the cracked black pepper allows all the good stuff to be released out of the turmeric. Add some coconut oil when it's heated and come to the thickness that you need. And I pop it into ice cube trays so that I've got it always on hand. And it's easy to make. It doesn't take long. I get organic turmeric powder myself, but you can also get turmeric root at the grocery store and make golden paste from that as well. It's not hard. All of this is easy.
It's so powerful as well. Like it's such a, I mean, we had it in our dinner right tonight. Like
we did. Yeah, and we should be having it every day. The dog should be having it every day. The other, like, I believe you feed this to Everest as well as green tea. So we should be having a cup of green tea every day, and the benefits, antioxidants, anti-cancer. There's so many health benefits to it. It's good for weight loss. And the dogs, putting a little bit in the dogs' meals as well. When you make up a Kong, when you do anything up for them, it's just phenomenal, the benefit to them.
And it's such a, like, I find it so easy to make it a ritual that I have chocolate every day. Hang on a second, Lauren. Like, why not make it a ritual to drink a cup of green tea, right? Like,
yes.
It's doable, it's achievable. Let's make it happen. So when you make your treats, or when you make your pace, and when you show people, are they going to be put off by how complex it is? Are they going to be finding this difficult? Is it going to be something that they actually do find hard? Like, how easy really is it?
Oh, it's really easy. The last bake-off, the posts that were coming up on Facebook with people doing the recipes afterwards were amazing. The idea is do things in a batch, get it all done for the week, and you've got all your ditch the bowl. It's simple. It's not hard.
And I know that you coach this online, so you show people online how to do a bake-off. But actually, like I said, we have done a really cool new Absolute Dogs food badge where Tom and I coach, but also you coach in the kitchen, because let's be honest, Tom and I in the kitchen, fairly rarely. In terms of someone wanting to find out some more information, are they going to come and are they going to go, I've seen all this before? Or is it going to be like typical, they know what they're like, they're going to have seen this in the general like dog world? Or is this kind of a bit novel and new?
It's new, definitely. I mean, we made sushi today.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was really cool. And the idea is you can make it fun, you can be creative. If you want to make sushi for your dog, do it. It's not that hard. And the benefits of what we put in there are really good for your dogs. We put salmon, cucumber, carrots, seaweed's really good for your dogs as well.
I know that wonderful Sam, she's one of the trainers here at the centre. She said that her dog went sushi hunting. Tell me what it's about. That sounds like a real like fun old game.
Yeah, so it's one thing to make it. It's another thing to show that the dogs actually like it. So we did at the end of everything that we made, we got a taste tester in. And her little dog did a little search for little sushi rolls, and she absolutely loved them, gobbled them down. So that was a pause up from her that the sushi was a hit.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And how about what Mango got to do? I don't know if you want to tell everyone a little bit about Mango, because Mango, I think, got one of the best jobs today.
Yeah, she got the highlight of what we made today. So there's always leftovers. So you make your Kong, there's going to be a little bit left over. I usually have leftovers in my fridge. One of the squeezy tubes had blueberries in it. We did something with banana. So you don't use everything up. I don't like to let it go to waste. So what we did is make a taster plate. So with everything that was left over, we put a little bit onto the plate and added a sardine to it. So she got blueberry, banana, there was a tiny bit of peanut butter, kefir, salmon, some of the meat, the mince from the dinner and the Kong that we made, some fresh veg. So there was broccoli, sweet potato, a little bit of rocket, and some spinach and some egg. She went mental for it.
She literally inhaled the sardine. The sardine, I've never seen something go down. It was like just like a cartoon character.
And it wasn't a small sardine.
It was not. So how do these integrate into your dog's day to day when you're ditching the bowl and ditching the routine? Like, how might some of these things work? Knowing that, say, we've got our home baked treats, and we've got a home baked Kong, and we've got a taster plate, and we've got our lick mat, and we've got our squeezy tubes, and we've got our kefir, and all of the other things. Like, how do they mix a day in the life of our dogs?
So the treats I would pack in my training bag when I come over to the centre to teach. And if I bring a dog out, for me, it would be for demoing to a student. I've got some really good value treats that I know they're going to love. They're healthy. I know exactly what's in it, and they'll work for that food. When I'm at home, I'm doing a Zoom with you right now. I might have a dog out in a boundary, and they get one of the Kongs that I prepared earlier. So they're chilling out and relaxing while I'm chatting on Zoom, or teaching a class online, or having a consult with a client. The taster plate, that's a brilliant thing to do for your dog on a day that they're having a free day, and bucket emptying day. So they get something a little bit more special. It might be that you're having Sunday roast. You want to give your dog something really special. They get a lovely taster plate while you're having your Sunday roast. So it's all about enrichment. It's about having meals more than just giving them a bowl.
Nice, really nice. And in terms of like some of the topics that you might teach on Bake Off that people could hear more about? Like, what sort of topics have you got coming up next?
So we're doing a wellness and superfoods bake-off. That's going to be in November. Really excited about that, because the more I've been doing this, the more adventurous I've become with the foods I've been picking. And every time I host a bake-off, I try to give people facts about what they're feeding their dogs. So I want people to be educated. It's not about this is right and this is wrong. It's about this is what you're potentially feeding your dog. So trying to help people look at feeding the dogs turmeric. So let's make the golden paste. And if they understand how good it is for their dog, how beneficial it is, they can incorporate it into their dog's daily diet.
I mean, that's amazing in itself. And when we think wellness and we think superfoods, let's just do like a quick tips tennis on some of the things that we think wellness and superfoods. And I'm going to start off and I'm going to say broccoli. I think broccoli is literally the power veg that both us and our dogs can really have, preferably raw. So I think raw is really cool, or very lightly cooked, but not more than that. And
still
my
crunchy.
I literally earlier I had a cauliflower stalk, and this is another tip I've taken to. I had like the stalk and a leaf, like, or whichever covers the cauliflower anyway. And I threw it over to Easy, and she literally, I wish I'd got a video of it. It would have been a great TikTok. She grabbed it, she ran around in a circle like, yes, I got a cauliflower stalk. And she looked really pleased with herself, chucked it in the air, crunched it down, and then looked at me like, smile. And she just literally looked insanely happy about her cauliflower stalk. And I was over the moon. And I wish I'd got my phone out for a TikTok, but I was so busy beaming at her. And so I was like,
that.
Proud mum, proud of her child eating veg. I wish Eliza would do the same. Anyway, your top tip. What's your next superfood? Because I know you're going to talk about all of these on your bake-off, but equally, I think that lots of people listening would probably love to have a sneak peek.
Mushrooms. So I've been hot onto mushrooms lately. Lots of benefits to them. They're really good for dogs that might have allergies. Medicinal mushrooms are the best, but mushrooms that you can get at the grocery store, culinary mushrooms, are fine as well. And your smartest is to buy ones that humans can eat. Don't go and pick them yourself. It's just too risky. So we've got them in the woods right now around Bowerland. Buy them at the shop. And lightly cook them before you put them into anything. And that helps release all the goodness out of the mushrooms.
And let's be honest, we had a lot of mushrooms in our dinner tonight, didn't we, Michelle? Because we managed this evening, and we had loads of mushrooms. And I said, we could have put even more in. You were like, I used every mushroom in the fridge. I was like, we should have raided the other fridge.
Yes.
Because we're up for mushrooms. So mushrooms are cool. Now, next tip for me, cruciferous veg. So cauliflower also really, really powerful for your dogs. I think cauliflower and broccoli for me are two of my superfoods, and use the stalk. So we also chop the stalks up. We use the stalks for treats, especially if your dog plays things like catch. We quite quickly trick them into catching some of those, and they end up just loving it because they're catching. So if your dog isn't hungry, for me, they're not going to eat it. You do need to have hungry dogs. So I like to keep my dogs on the probably slightly, my dogs would be slightly under their weight rather than over their weight if I had a choice, because they're a little bit sharper to catch and do and think. By no means are they hungry, but I don't want them overweight. So I am careful not to let my dogs overweight. So that's another superfood trick. That's cauliflower, cruciferous veg, using the stalks and keeping your dog very slightly under rather than over, I think being a bit of a superfood power. Over to you. Another superfood or another wellness tip?
Eggs. Really good for your dogs. Raw, you can cook them and give them the shells as well. And if you really want to amuse yourself, just give them the egg. I would do that outside, not inside, and just let them figure it out. And that is really good fun. But let them eat the shell. People throw the shells away. There's so much goodness, lots of calcium in the shells.
Next top tip would be supplements. We obviously have our AOK9. If you haven't seen AOK9, definitely check it out. For my dogs, they're on Flexi for their joints, for turmeric, for good joint wellness. And that's from, mine have it from day one. So joint wellness, I give my dogs very early. I think on our recommendation, it's 6 months. My dogs have it from immediately. Then I would also say my dogs are on Prime. It's like a superfood for dogs in a powder. My dogs are also on Probio, and they'll have rescue if they ever have bad tummies. They also have plaque. For me, what I do, a super top tip on my supplement, is I open all my packets, I put it into a little Tupperware, I mix them all up, and then I just put a spoon in each time, because I am not weighing each one out. And I know they're superfoods, and I know if anything, I can go a fraction over rather than under, because I know they're really powerful in what they do, and they do a great job, and they're all supplementary rather than anything else. And so that's one of my top tips. Over to you for a superfood tip, something you might be covering on Bake Off in more detail, but equally something that would fit here, Michelle.
So if you're going to feed the AOK9 plaque, mix in some herbs with whatever you mix it in with. So parsley and mint are really good for bad breath, good for their teeth. And those broccoli stalks that you've been cutting off your broccoli, turn them into a chew. So after they've had maybe a bit of a Kong with some plaque in it, give them some broccoli to chew on, and that's an added benefit. The saliva will activate the plaque, and it acts like a toothbrush and toothpaste. Clean teeth, sparkly teeth.
Very nice. And then just reiterating on what Michelle's saying about herbs, my dogs have lots of different herbs. Have a search out as to what your dogs can have and what they can't, but a lot of the herbs your dogs can have. So we have our own herb gardens. All of our Bowerland cottages here at the centre have a herb garden, so you can explore and experiment and play with the herbs a little bit. Everything in the herb garden is safe for your dogs. And my dogs get herbs every day. They get herbs in their raw foods. They get herbs in, like Michelle says, in our Kong mixes. They get herbs in their after plaque or their before plaque, or I give them herbs. I love picking the herbs. I love the smell of the herbs. I love using the herbs. Give your dog herbs. And then last wellness tip coming to you before we give all of your secrets away.
Oh gosh, kefir. Make your own kefir. It has got so many probiotics in it, up to 4 trillion probiotics, versus yogurt that has up to 5 billion.
Wow.
Yes. And you can make it yourself. Get the grains off of Amazon, use some goat's milk. Amazing. Easy.
I intend to eat kefir, and you do too. But sometimes do we treat our dogs better than ourselves?
Yes, they definitely eat better than I do.
So our next top tip is look at your own diet too and see what you can do, even if it's a little thing to improve it. I was talking to an owner only the other day, and they said, look, I don't want to change to raw. I can't do raw all the time, or I can't afford to do raw. Or actually, it's not even convenient. Does it help if I do the odd meal raw? I would say yes. I would say yes. Even if you change a little bit, or even if you do the odd home baked treats or the odd bake off or the odd little thing, it's still better than going completely commercial processed if you've got a choice to do a little bit fresh. So if you get to do a veggie or a little bit of raw or a little bit of home baked or a little bit of golden paste or kefir or blueberries or any other of the antioxidants that you get to play with, it's still going to be of benefit, right? Like it makes a difference when it comes to wellness and superfoods.
Definitely. And if you include veg in your dog's diet on a weekly basis and you feed something like kibble is actually, there's negative impacts on your dog's body. Feeding kibble, just the way that it's processed, and the vegetables will counteract that. So the antioxidants in it will benefit your dog. So it's not always convenient to feed raw.
We're not saying by any means don't feed kibble. What we're saying is moderation. If you've got a choice to do a little bit of both Michelle and I feed some kibble. It's not like a no. It's more of a what can you do to help to complement. If you want to learn more, then absolutely we've got the Absolute Dogs badge coming out on food. We have got, Michelle, when's your next bake off?
November 19th, wellness and superfoods.
So Michelle will talk to you about that too. Like we said, food badge, bake-offs, loads of different content coming from us. We love to teach on this. It's a topic that both Michelle and I are really passionate about. We want to do better by our dogs. We want to learn. We love the wellness. We love the health. Michelle, thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome.
It's been incredible. I know you've got some baking to do, and I know I've got some eating to do. That was this episode of the Sexier and Squirrel podcast. Literally, it's been action-packed with wellness, superfoods, baking, and so much more. I know Michelle will be joining us again. We've got loads more to cover. And remember, guys, most importantly, when you're working with your dogs and your food, every little bit counts. Michelle, thank you once again.
Very welcome. I enjoyed that.
I've enjoyed it too. It's been incredible. And remember,
high five.
Include the 5-5. What are you going to remember as well as the high five? You got to stay sexy. Michelle,
Yes, stay sexy. Sorry.
I'm going to give you
food.
one more go. I'm going to give you one more go. And remember,
Stay sexy.
even better. It's the best thing ever. Guys, we'll see you real soon.
Stop right there, Game Changer. We have something very exciting to tell you about if you struggle with stressful walks right now.
So pulling your dog, yanking your arm out of its socket, just basically it's painful, right?
Now, it's a struggle that you want to transform. You want to go from pulling on lead like a train to loose leash walking prince or princess, and we've got a solution for you.
It is just £27. It's a mini course that literally is going to be your zero to hero of loose leash walking.
Day by day, we're going to be showing you the games and skills and strategies that you are going to need to implement to transform your dog's leash behavior in the next 2 weeks.
This is a complete package. You get to keep it for life. Yes, for life. And it's just £27 to you.
Access it anywhere, keep it for life, no equipment required, and all you've got to do is go to absolutedogs.me/stop pulling. And yes, it is just £27, Game Changers.